What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, before I start, I didn't do a recap for last week's game since I've been busy with other things going on in my personal life, and plus there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about with last week's game. So, Tommy DeVito wins his first NFL game. Now, I personally am happy about it, and I'm not one to say that the Giants should tank, but I understand both sides of it. On one hand, if the Giants lose every game from here on out, they will most definitely end up with a top 3 pick and can either draft one of the top quarterback prospects or trade down and get a boatload of picks in return. I personally am not sold on drafting a QB yet, as crazy as that might sound to some. My reason is that if DeVito looks good for the rest of the season, he will at the very least be the backup next year, if not eventually the starter, based on if Jones returns and how he performs next year. Also, Daniel Jones will be here at least one more year, as I just indicated, because of his contract situation. So it's not entirely clear yet if the Giants will draft a quarterback this upcoming draft, especially when there's 6 games left in the season and a lot can happen in those 6 games. And of course, this all depends on where the Giants will end up picking, whether they go quarterback or not. And it's likely that if they're outside of the top 5, in my opinion, they'll likely draft the top offensive lineman or wide receiver available, which is what I personally would like to see. And I'd also be happy to see them trade down to collect more draft capital. Either way, I'm not in favor of the Giants tanking, because although this is a lost season, it's important that the Giants finish the year strong and give themselves confidence heading into next season. Winning builds culture, and ending on a high note is vital. But if they do end up losing the rest of the way and DeVito looks terrible, the Giants will most definitely have a top 3 pick, and it will be very easy for them to go to the quarterback route in the draft. But either way, the Giants must know which direction to head in the draft once the season is over. Now, as for the game itself, it was awesome to see the Giants have their best game of the season, at least defensively, in my opinion. The Giants forced 6 turnovers, with the final being a pick 6 by Isaiah Simmons in the last few seconds of the game. Tommy DeVito looked great, and he threw 3 touchdown passes, which was the most by a Giants quarterback since Daniel Jones threw 4 touchdown passes against the Jets Week 10, 2019, I believe. I mean, he also had a bunch of touchdowns in that Chase Young Bowl in Week 16 from that year as well. But either way, Daniel Jones hasn't had 3 touchdown passes in a while, and Tommy DeVito just did it like it was nothing. So take that for what it is. And also, I don't know what it is about it, but the Giants just cannot lose to Washington, with the exception of 2021. I mean, in 2021, that first loss on Thursday night, which was heartbreaking, they still should have won, because the replay showed that Dexter Lawrence clearly was not offside on that last field goal attempt, which missed. And they should have taken that game. And then the Week 18 game, Jake Fromm was starting, and the Giants had no chance of winning because Fromm and Glenn were 2 of the worst backup quarterbacks I've ever seen. We don't need to go back onto that. But then last year, they tied in one game, and the Giants won the other. So technically, they didn't sweep last year, but they didn't lose to them. And then with that, that means that every year since 2019, with the exception of 2021 and I guess 2022, they've swept Washington every single time. And it's happened no matter how bad the Giants have been, or even how good the Commanders might have looked when they won the division in 2020, although the division was terrible that year. So, but then, of course, on the other hand, the Giants just can never beat Dallas or Philly, which sucks. And hopefully that changes someday. So the Giants will now face the 2-8 Patriots in what should be a winnable game. So we'll see what happens. And that's going to do it for this one. If you're new here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.